Story 1. I'm getting very close to the end of my rope. Unless something significantly beneficial happens, my rope will snap permanently. Story 2. Doing well. Mindfulness practices really help. I recommend the book, The Happiness Trap, by Russ Harris to anyone who is struggling. Story 3. I'm unemployed since December 31st, which is stressful. I'm feeling a mix of emotions at the moment because I just took a 20-milligram edible. Story 4. I have a new job that I feel fulfilled in. I'm working from home, so my former 2-hour commute is no longer draining my energy. Additionally, I find comfort in medication. Overall, I'm okay in my immediate surroundings. However, there is no escaping the pain an empathetic, justice-driven person feels when witnessing the chaos in the larger world. Story 5. I started a dream job with the federal government. Although it is a challenging time to start, I love the position. However, it requires a lot of work and demands significant focus and mental energy. Just as I was beginning to adjust to the demanding role, I received a call that my dad has stage 4 cancer and is starting hospice care. I do not have any leave or vacation time, so I returned home for the weekend. I am currently watching him pass away. I cannot access the resources I need to complete my paperwork, and I feel extremely stressed. Additionally, I am the sole income earner for my family. Story 6. Not great, but stable. I have been dealing with the sudden passing of my sister a little over a year ago and a back injury from work that I am recovering from. I miss my sister deeply, and all I can do is sit around and dwell on it. Meanwhile, money is extremely tight since I lost that physically demanding job, and I am stressed about the possibility of losing my home if I can't find decent work that I can manage at the moment. Story 7. It used to be difficult, but once I started taking care of myself, things improved significantly. It has been great for 3 years. After getting pregnant, I am now feeling somewhat like I did during my struggles, but I hope it is just the hormones. Story 8. It has been good. It is getting even better with my new job and leaving a toxic supervisor. I am slowly but surely becoming more financially stable and debt-free. Story 9. I feel overwhelmed and frustrated with my mental health. I rate this existence as very low. Story 10. I feel like I am becoming the Joker because the world is doing nothing but turning into one big punchline. Story 11. I am feeling sad after breaking up with my fiancée of 5 years 3 days ago. It has been a tough couple of days. The only thing that is cheering me up is that I just got a new over-under shotgun for trap and skeet shooting. Story 12. The highs are reaching levels not seen in a long time, while the lows are lower than ever. I have made significant changes to my life recently, but at least once a week, I find myself disappointed to have woken up. Story 13. Worst it has been for about 9 years since my mom died. I hope everyone else struggling has better days soon. Story 14. I have a dog and a cat that rely on a regular feeding schedule, which prevents me from planting a brass garden in my mind. Other than that, it's decent, I suppose. Story 15. Tonight was the greatest night of my life. I went to a pierogi supper with my wife. It was not objectively that great, but somehow it was that great. The best meatballs of my life. The best Treaty 6 acknowledgement of my life. The best watching kids learn the Macarena of my life. To top it all off, my wife guessed the amount of Easter candy in the jar most accurately. But that's hardly surprising. She's the smartest person I know. I'm concerned that I might be experiencing mania, but I have reason to feel great. 6 months of horrible anxiety lifted just the other day with no medical intervention. The world looks bright. Story 16. I told my friend I was in the emergency room, and they assumed I tried to do something reckless. I was just there for a severe headache I had been experiencing for days. Story 17. I was diagnosed with adjustment disorder in May 2024. Since then, I have been dealing with a mixture of ongoing rage, panic attacks, and depression. I am currently in a legal battle, and anytime I am exposed to the opposing party, it has a serious negative effect on me. Today, I am okay. However, my current state of being okay is likely 20% less than what others would consider neutral. Story 18. Well, it's my birthday, And I'm sitting in the hospital because my mom has throat cancer and bilateral pneumonia. It's just us here. My mental health is numb. Surfing the internet for some escapism isn't exactly helping with the never-ending news. Story 19. It is not good at all. It is very bad. I am currently struggling with my mental health, and the fight keeps me from dwelling in the dark. Story 20. Better than it was during the holidays. I was at rock bottom. New medication and therapy help. I am now 50 and have been experiencing psychiatric episodes since I was about 14. Nothing is or has become easier. They still disrupt my life. Story 21. It is unfortunate. My rabbit just died, and the situation in America is concerning. I feel trapped in a situation I did nothing to deserve. Story 22. Better than it was. After the Oval Office fiasco, I watched the world express anger and support for Zelensky, topped off with Keir Starmer giving him a hug. Story 23. I can't find work that matches my abilities due to a chronic health condition, which rules out many physical jobs. White-collar positions are not responding to my applications. Bills have nearly depleted my savings, and I've had to rely on my family during this time. I am grateful for their support, but feel frustrated with everything else, except for my distractions like writing and art. I am already on a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and according to my insurance, there is nothing wrong. Story 24. It's all right. I've been actively avoiding the news and working on small projects that I enjoy to keep myself sane. Story 25. I'm neither good nor bad anymore. I'm simply checked out. I've hurt too much for too long, and it has bent my framework to the point where I'm done. We all have a body and an ego that often make the internal experience a noisy one, alongside the quiet awareness underlying it all. That awareness doesn't process things or adhere to concepts. It simply exists. I sit in that space now, watching the world do what it does. I lack the energy to portray my own character at this point. Story 26. My anxiety is through the roof, but I have found a technique. I name random objects in my room in alphabetical order when I am spiraling. Story 27. Most of my friends are married or in serious relationships, and I am single. My work is tedious, but unemployment rates are high, so I can't quit. I live next door to a genocidal dictatorship, and every news article I read describes the leader of the free world as foolish or traitorous. I would like to start shooting as a hobby, but my mental state is too unstable. Basically normal. Story 28. It's always challenging, but my reality and my perception of it are two different things. I'm in an okay place in life, wanting more and better for myself, but it's truly not bad. My mind tells me I'm a complete failure and a waste of existence, that I'm alone even when I have people who love me. I know this isn't true. In summary, I'm doing much better in life than my mind suggests. My mental state may be difficult, but life is honestly all right. Story 29. It's okay. Generally, I am all right and trending upward. I had a difficult last year. I am very supported and have been given great tools. I am working on my self-compassion and self-esteem, doing affirmations and a variety of other activities. These last few weeks have been somewhat heavy and sad. I am holding and witnessing a lot of grief right now, both personally and with a few friends who are experiencing medical challenges. The general state of the world adds to this. I am taking deep breaths and moving slowly and gently, focusing on one step at a time. Story 30. I wake up sometime between 2:30 and 3:15 every morning, and if I'm lucky, I don't go back to sleep. If I do go back to sleep, I get up at 6:45 and drink the coffee that caused a false positive for amphetamines on my most recent urine test and still can't focus for the rest of the day. Story 31. My self-image is extremely poor. I shut down when I see pictures of myself. I think I'm ugly. Yet, people say the opposite, and I have a very attractive girlfriend, or at least I think so. Story 32. Better than it has been in a long time. I quit drinking 48 days ago, and it has greatly improved my mental health. Story 33. I have my struggles, but it's definitely better, especially now that I have recovered from being sick for 3.5 weeks and am finally starting to get my appetite back. Story 34. Okay, I had a really bad self-esteem day yesterday, but today I went outside and connected with nature, and now everything is fine. I think my life is going well for the first time in a while, so my mind is coming up with arbitrary things to stress over, like nitpicking my appearance and the fact that I'm not a CEO at 23. Story 35. I texted the suicide hotline because it has unfortunately been on my mind more than it should be. The only thing stopping me is my daughter, but even then, I have grown resentment towards her because I know I have been failing her. Story 36. Pretty disappointing. I have become accustomed to semi-intelligent adults being in charge. I am not looking forward to high inflation, significant legal changes, the consequences of increased wage disparity, actively incompetent leaders in the medical, defense, and science sectors, or an unqualified individual solely in charge of nuclear weapons while surrounded by sycophants. Story 37. Pretty good. The kids are healthy and thriving in college. My wife and I are now empty nesters, reconnecting and strengthening our bond. My parents are healthy, and I visit them often. I am traveling more and helping out friends and family when I can. I paid off the house, just received another raise, and bought a new vehicle. Story 38. Sometimes, pretending you do not have problems really works. I observe how far I can go before everything comes to a breaking point. Story 39. I have good days and bad days. Sometimes I feel like I want to disappear from the world. Other times, I feel like I am on top of the world. I wouldn't say I am depressed. I would know if I were. I just don't like the personal situation I am in right now. Story 40. I feel extremely isolated and struggle with socializing. I am finding life difficult and experiencing feelings of despair. Story 41. I experience no stress at the workplace, only slight annoyance that I have to spend 3 hours daily commuting to work and back home. Story 42. Worse than I want to admit. I had a near-death experience in January when I jumped out of a moving truck after a friend was scaring me in his vehicle. I am still dealing with the aftermath, along with many other things in my life. I didn't mean to get injured, but it happened anyway. Thankfully, the situation was witnessed by bystanders, and one of them called for help. The police and emergency medical personnel arrived quickly and took me to the hospital. I spent the night and morning there and was seen right away in the trauma unit. I am feeling better now, but it was still quite terrifying. Story 43. As long as I stay on my medication, I feel good. If I don't take my medication for a few days, I become very paranoid and anxious. Story 44. Could be better. February was a really difficult month, but I am looking forward to all the positive things that will happen in March. Story 45. I have been in relatively good shape over the last month. I have been trying to find the right medication regimen for over 10 years, and I think we have finally nailed it. Despite the current state of the world and financial concerns, I am doing better than I have been. Story 46. It's about to go downhill because I know postpartum depression, and maybe even postpartum psychosis, is going to hit me hard after I have my child. I already have depression and anxiety, so I'm preparing myself for the possibility that I might need to be hospitalized. But it is what it is. Story 47. Good and not so good. I realized today that I run away from discomfort every chance I get, whether it's mindless scrolling, casual relationships, or junk food. I've done this for so many years that it has become a bad habit. Now, I am on a journey to train myself to sit with discomfort and just let it be. Story 48. It's okay. My friends have been helping me, though. When I tell them, I'm okay, they know to ask questions and talk things out with me. Story 49. Just finished watching the full Oval Office meeting between Trump and Zelensky. Now, I am seeing the consequential response from other allied nations distancing themselves from the United States. I am not doing okay. My American anxiety is through the roof. Story 50. I'm struggling with work due to my depression and anxiety. I'm always exhausted and can feel myself withdrawing from my friends and family. I don't yet have the strength to be my true self again, let alone face their sympathy. Story 51. Not good at the moment. Currently, I'm thinking about the purpose of life if we are all going to die in the end. I feel so far behind in life. I know these thoughts are temporary and I will forget about them tomorrow morning, but it's so hard right now. Story 52. I was researching whether it is possible to overdose on my medication. It is not. Story 53. Fair to middling. It has much improved from a couple of years ago, but it will always be a work in progress. Story 54. I'm not sure. I feel somewhat manic at the moment, like I'm in a dream. Are you all real or not? This conversation feels like something I would dream up. Story 55. It's bad. Really bad. I haven't been out of my house for some weeks, and for the past couple of days, 95% of my time has been spent in bed. Story 56. I am fortunate to be in a great place. I have a supportive partner, a healthy family, a beautiful home, and a fulfilling career. Although I experienced a few health scares over the past few years, I am hopeful that an upcoming surgery will help me feel more like myself again. I am truly grateful for my beautiful life and I am enjoying every moment. Story 57. Not good. My seasonal depression is lifting, but I'm constantly extremely anxious and paranoid. I'm often overwhelmed by imagined worst-case scenarios that feel very real. I go through every detail of what I would do if a nuclear bomb were to drop, if my house caught fire, or if someone broke into my home. At work, I sometimes find myself standing there, lost in these anxious daydreams. Yet, when I sit down with my therapist, I can't seem to talk about it. It's like when a dog is limping and stops once you get to the vet. It's my own mental health that feels the same way. I'm trying out anxiety medications, but so far I haven't found one with side effects I can tolerate. I am deeply exhausted. Story 58. This person has been staying at my place for a while. Since the beginning of the year, he has moved in his brother. Their names are depression and anxiety. They don't pay rent or any of the other bills, and they make a mess everywhere. Story 59. Worse than it has been in years. It would have really helped if I had not been excluded from a friend group the day that terrible news rocked the world. I have had 4 hours of sleep in the last 48 and cannot stop crying, which is giving me a migraine. Also, a friend of mine said she is happy my country is falling apart and dismissed my fears that I may lose access to medications that keep me alive. Another friend is a victim of marital assault by her abusive husband, and I do not know how to help her. My aunt cannot get medical help and wants to end her life. My mother is suffering because she does not know how to assist my aunt. I need to talk to my uncle about something incredibly traumatic that is unrelated to all of this, and I get 1 hour a week where I can speak to someone about any of this because they are paid to care. Because that is all people like me deserve. Oh, and my car was totaled last month. I apologize for unloading my trauma. However, I wanted to respond honestly. Story 60. I was just thinking about this. The fact of the matter is that I am depressed, which is nothing new since I was diagnosed with chronic depression and anxiety disorders as a teenager. However, because I spend so much time in my own head, overanalyzing everything about myself, I can pinpoint my current depression down to simple loneliness and lack of social interaction, which is fixable and fairly standard, especially in today's society. The realization that my feelings are normal, valid, and can be addressed under the right circumstances fills me with hope and alleviates my symptoms for now. With all of that said, it's hard to discuss depression seriously since so many people misuse it as a cliché to gain sympathy or sound deep and brooding. I do not feel comfortable telling people in real life that I have depression because of how much of a cliché it has become online. Just look at this comments section. Story 61. It is not good, and I am not being taken seriously by the doctor. This is not helped by my ability to appear normal when discussing my issues. My avoidance issues due to my mental health also contribute to this. I can only visit the doctor or speak to anyone when I am feeling okay, which makes me seem fine. I have over 10 years of crippling depression and anxiety recorded as low mood in my medical history. I have always had these issues, which have prevented me from maintaining a career, a relationship, friendships, or generally living the life I desire. I have never been diagnosed with anything. As good as the National Health Service is, mental health services in the UK are not very effective for a single man with no dependents and no caseworker to assist me. If I had the financial means to go private, I would. Story 62. I just retired in September at the age of 55. One of my children just moved back from overseas, and another is ready to graduate from college. I should be feeling happy, but the current state of the world has made it difficult for me, so I'm not doing great. Story 63. It is actually pretty good. I was struggling 2 months ago, but I have gotten myself together and I feel better. Story 64. I'm not sure if I'm doing well or doing great. Honestly, I'm burned out. I just need some time alone. Story 65. I like to tell myself I've been through the worst of it. I just need to remind myself of healthy trajectories. Short story. I became really interested in ancient history during the pandemic and eventually bought a copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Unfortunately, it ended up sitting next to a bunch of other history books I never quite got to. I knew it was meant to be an excellent read. I just never felt the time was right. Fast forward to last year, and in the middle of a mental breakdown, I grabbed the book off my shelf and immersed myself in the parts Marcus wrote. I realized that was the moment for that book. It served its purpose. Even if it was just a great placebo moment, I definitely recommend having something to lose yourself in when you're about to feel lost. Preferably, choose something beneficial and planned, but it can still be a trivial guilty pleasure. Hugs and support to all of you. Story 66. Not good. I am receiving medication to help. I cannot get through the downfall of the United States democracy without feeling a little numb, and I am sober, so no drugs or alcohol. I feel overwhelmed at least once a day. Story 67. Not good. I'm feeling a bit detached from society after my cancer experience. I'm doing fine health-wise now, but I've lost so much. There's a chance it could return in the future. If that happens, I often wonder why I should bother. Story 68. Not experiencing prolonged crashes anymore. One day feels good. Then the next is filled with anxiety and worry. I feel depressed, sad, and scared to get out of bed. But once I start moving, I become happy again. I still laugh and create art. My house is relatively clean, although finances are tight. Story 69. If a bus were going to hit me, I would let it happen, but I wouldn't jump in front of one and traumatize the driver. If someone threatened to shoot me, I might honestly ask them to reconsider. I am in a good place. Story 70. I struggle to find motivation in life and feel guilty for thinking this way. I question the purpose of my work since I have no responsibilities beyond taking care of myself. Is my work merely to meet my basic needs and present a facade? If that is all life offers, it lacks meaning. Having relocated for a job that has yet to begin, I must rediscover what brings me joy. Story 71. What mental health? Not good, to be honest. I would never take my own life or harm myself. I actually enjoy being alive, despite the pain. However, I would change a great deal of my personal life if I could. I can't, so I ignore the pain and use escapism. Story 72. Super great. About age 45. A little cockroach might test me. Okay. Or maybe not. But currently, I am just bored. Story 73. I am a social drinker and I just had some vodka in the afternoon. By myself. My vodka is for cooking and baking. Story 74. Contrary to most comments, mine is quite good. I have my ups and downs, but we all do. Story 75. I feel stable enough to continue progressing mentally, even if I find the situation disappointing. You can refer to my previous posts for more context. Story 76. Not good. Generally, it's pretty bad. Now my 90-year-old dad isn't well. He is being looked after by my sister, but I can't do anything for him. Story 77. I have found myself walking a lot. I mean a lot. In some cases, I have walked so far that I didn't realize how far I had gone. About 18 kilometers in the middle of the night. I get somewhere and sit for an hour, looking at my kids' photos and reminiscing about when they were young and I was happy and had a purpose. I am seeing a psychologist, and honestly, I need an outcome. I need something because walking is all I have right now to disassociate from it all. Story 78. I am feeling overwhelmed and can barely bring myself to work on anything or care about potential failures, which is why I am taking a term off. I talked to my mom about how I was feeling, And some of what I said must have worried her enough that she suggested I take a term off and also mentioned planning a vacation for me. My dad encouraged me to take a term off, maybe even two, and my stepdad also recommended that I take a term off. So now I am going to do that. Story 79. I stopped my medications several months ago for medical reasons. I'm not discussing it with anyone because I feel no one cares. If I mention even the slightest problem, people make excuses to end the conversation. So no, I haven't told anyone that my mind is racing with negative thoughts or that my hallucinations have returned. I experienced my first visual hallucinations again. I saw a fly disappear in a movie theater and then some black circles. But no one seems to care, so I feel it's pointless to talk about it. Story 80. Government officials in my country are acting inappropriately. I do not identify as a straight, white Christian man. Things could certainly be better. Story 81. My mental health has been better than ever. I am choosing to focus on what is within my control and being grateful for the simple pleasures of my life. Story 82. Better than it has been in 30 years. I have friends and some money to keep me going for a while. I'm not living in a country run by an unrefined leader, the one I was born in. I am living in a peaceful village by the sea in a tropical climate, enjoying beers every day. It has been a long time coming. Story 83. My antidepressants are affecting my sexual function, and I am grinding my teeth. My eyes are twitching, and I'm struggling to enjoy things or relax. Political figures are frustrating me with the constant stream of negativity, and I'm not even American. I long for a place where people can move past trivial issues and simply live in peace. But instead, we have those in power who seem to want to harm us. Story 84. 6 to 7 out of 10. Some aspects of my life are good or great, while others remain old frustrations. I am trying to make the most of it by taking small steps to make progress on what feels stuck. I feel much better nowadays because I have the power to decide how to act in my life more freely than before, and I have better overall health. Story 85. Getting better. I recently started online therapy, and I am exploring that. I began making some personal changes beforehand, so I hope both will complement each other. Story 86. Not great, turning 25 this year. My estranged father died last July, and I think it's taking a bigger toll on me than I anticipated. Despite not having a relationship with him, I have a great job, I bought a house, and I live with my partner, but I am feeling extremely bored with life. I'm constantly worrying about enjoying my life now versus saving money. My mental health was much better from age 19 when I moved out to age 22. I feel like everything now is heavier and more serious. I just started taking Lexapro last week. We will see if it helps. Story 87. The future looks bleak. My retirement is gone, and at my age, my only hope is to pass away at work so that my family can receive the life insurance. Story 88. I have been put on new medication, and although it has only been a few days, I am starting to accomplish the tasks that have been neglected over the past year. I have laughed and not cried in 2 days, which is a positive outcome. Story 89. Oh, it's good. I have trouble even mentioning the number of years. I no longer think of myself as being as old as I am. I mean, it's just not the case. I haven't observed any changes in terms of things I do now compared to before, whether physical, mental, or anything else. Story 90. I am trying to find a therapist, but it seems to take weeks to get a scheduled appointment. Story 91. Absolutely perfect. The lack of people I connected with sorted the issues I was having, and now the complete withdrawal from society means that I control everything that enters my life. Story 92. It was good before January 20th. It's still okay. I'm trying to prioritize it despite everything because I know they want people to feel bad. So I'm still doing well. Story 93. Sometimes I'm fine. Sometimes I feel like a rat is trying to claw its way out of my brain while an elephant sits on my chest. Story 94. More issues than a magazine. I treat the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Story 95. God awful. Dysphoria and the political climate make me feel overwhelmed. I just want to be a cute girl. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.